So, let's talk about Pep Guardiola and Manchester City. Pep's been absolutely phenomenal for City, right? Since he joined in 2016, they've won a jaw-dropping 18 trophies. 6 Premier League titles, 2 FA Cups, and even the Champions League as part of a treble. Legendary stuff. But right now, things aren't looking so great. City's hit a rough patch, losing 4 games in a row, and that's a big deal for a team that's been so dominant. But what if I told you that some of the problems are actually Pep's own doing? And what's worse, there's a critical flaw in City's current setup that could make this slump even harder to fix. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what's gone wrong and what Pep needs to do to save their season. Alright, first off, this slump is uncharted territory for Guardiola at City. I mean, the last time they lost 4 in a row was way back in 2006, before Pep was even in the picture. And for Pep personally, this is his worst run in 17 years of coaching. Yep, worse than the blip he had back in 2018 when City lost 3 games in a row. Could it be that success is getting to their heads? I mean, after dominating the Premier League, winning a treble, and breaking all kinds of records, maybe the hunger just isn't there anymore. What else is there to achieve? Does Pep still have the ability to motivate them like he used to? Hints of complacency are showing on the pitch. City have been second best in a lot of areas they used to excel in. But here's the twist. It's not just about complacency. There's a deeper issue here, and it's something Pep has faced before in his career. Could his Achilles heel be coming back to haunt him? We'll unpack that in just a moment. Next, let's look at pressing, for example. City's always been known for their controlled, relentless style. Not quite as wild as Klopp's Liverpool, but still super effective. But this season, teams like Tottenham, Arsenal, Brighton and Liverpool have outpressed them. City's press just isn't coordinated like it used to be, and it's leaving them wide open. Instead of smothering teams, they're getting exposed, and even their famous tactical fouls aren't bailing them out. It's like they've gone from being predators to prey. But here's where it gets tricky. The pressing issue is just one symptom of a much larger problem. A problem that stems from Guardiola's own transfer strategy and squad management. If you think City's struggles are just about tactics, think again. There's a structural flaw that's been on the horizon for quite some time. Now, here's a theory. Maybe the team's just getting old. Remember when Sir Alex Ferguson said a football team has a lifespan of about 4 years before it needs to be rebuilt? Just think about his defensive partnerships over the years as one aspect of his evolving teams. Bruce and Pallister, Johnson and Stam, Ferdinand and Vidic, and then last and, let's face it, probably least, Jones and Smalling. Well, Guardiola's trying to evolve his squad now, but is kind of coming up short. This isn't the first time he's faced criticism about whether he can build a new team. Back in 2020, questions were raised when City hit a rough patch, but Pep managed to bounce back. But here's the thing, this time, it might not be so easy. Why? Because Pep's track record with rebuilds is, let's just say, complicated. He has a history of inheriting unbelievable squads. At Barcelona, his squad already included Xavi, Iniesta, Puyol and Messi. At Bayern, he inherited Lewandowski, Müller, Lahm, Ribery and Robben. But when it comes to the transfer market, some of his signings have been hits, but others have flopped hard. From Claudio Bravo, Zinchenko and Nolito in the early days to €117 million bench warmer Grealish more recently. And right now, City doesn't seem to have the luxury of endless spending to paper over the cracks. So, where does that leave City? We're getting to the heart of it now. There's one critical position that City has completely neglected, and it's hurting them in every single game. Could it be Guardiola's biggest mistake yet? First, let's talk midfield. City's still heavily reliant on aging players like Kevin De Bruyne, Gundogan and Bernardo Silva. De Bruyne, for instance, has struggled with injuries. He's started just 19 out of City's last 49 Premier League games. And when he's not on the pitch, they really miss him. Why? Because he's the guy who links up with Haaland and creates those game-changing moments. And speaking of Rodri, his absence has been a disaster for City. The win percentage with versus without him speaks for itself. Without him screening the defense, they're way too easy to break through. Rodri's not just a defensive beast. He controls the tempo of games and even chips in with goals and assists. But City doesn't have anyone to step into his role. Calvin Phillips plays in that position, but signing him is looking like one of Pep's biggest blunders. He couldn't even get in a struggling West Ham team and now has dropped to newly promoted Ipswich. They let players like Romeo Lavia slip through their fingers, and now they're paying for it. And let's not forget, Guardiola's reluctance to fully integrate academy talents like Cole Palmer hasn't helped either. Imagine if Palmer was still around to support Haaland or fill in for De Bruyne. But that's not all. There's an even bigger domino effect from these midfield issues, and it's tearing apart City's defense. Let me show you how Rodri's absence is exposing City's backline in ways we haven't seen before. The defense is feeling the heat too. Injuries and age are catching up with players like Walker. Plus, with the fullbacks being asked to fill in midfield roles to cover for Rodri, it's leaving them exposed during transitions. Teams are exploiting that gap, and City's struggling to keep up. And let's talk about goals, or the lack of them. Yes, Haaland is breaking records left and right, but the problem is, when he is not getting chances or being wasteful in front of goal, no one else is stepping up. After Haaland, City's top scorers this season are, wait for it, Guardiola and Kovacic with 3 goals each. Again, poor squad management is rearing its ugly head again, as there has been no replacement for key goal contributors like Julian Alvarez. Pep has not got his team firing on all cylinders at all. Players like Phil Foden, Doku, or Grealish haven't hit their stride. Sure, reinforcements like Savinho and Echeverri are on the way, but they're not going to solve City's goal-scoring woes anytime soon. But here's the kicker. Pep's problems on the pitch isn't his only concern. There's also the looming shadow of those 115 financial fair play charges. What if those charges are proven true? Could Pep's legacy at City be tainted? So, what's next for Guardiola and City? What can Pep actually do to turn this season around? The good news is, their season isn't in total jeopardy, yet. But there's a lot to fix. Guardiola needs to lean on the academy more, find a solution to replacing Rodri, and reignite that hunger in his players again somehow. And here's a bold question to leave you with. Could this be Guardiola's biggest challenge yet? We'll find out soon enough. But what do you think? Can Pep and City turn things around? Let us know in the comments. And hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown, give this video a like and hit that subscribe button for more. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.